We're going to move on now and cover fifth wheel hitches. Now, the modern fifth wheel hitch was developed from a hitch that the trucking industry has used for many years, and it's really hard to find a simpler or easier to operate hitch anywhere in the RV world. These hitches eliminate all need for safety chains, they eliminate all the need for load leveling devices, and because the hitch point is directly over the rear axle of the tow vehicle, sway is almost completely eliminated as well. So before we start, just remember, as always, make sure that the tow vehicle is adequate for the trailer you're going to tow. Never exceed the manufacturer's tow ratings on your tow vehicle or on your hitch. Now, fifth wheel trailers put substantially more weight on the hitch than a conventional trailer does. With a larger rig, that hitch may be carrying 1,000 or even as much as 2,000 pounds. Now, this plays a substantial role in determining the size of the tow vehicle you're going to need. For all but the smallest fifth wheel trailers, a 3/4 ton truck is probably going to be a minimum.
There are many different styles of fifth wheel hitches, but they all operate in a similar fashion. This is a typical rail-mounted fifth wheel hitch.
Mounts to rails that are on the bed of the truck. This hitch can easily be removed to allow you to use the truck to carry things. Now, this is the load-bearing surface of this hitch. This is where all the weight resides. The pin on the fifth wheel comes into this slot in the hitch and then is held in place either by a locking bar or by locking jaws. Most hitches pivot fore and aft. Some other hitches also pivot side to side, and this allows the hitch to accommodate uneven terrain. For larger rigs, air hitches are also available. These hitches use airbags to help cushion the ride, but they operate just like standard hitches. The hitch rails must be mounted to the frame using the proper brackets. The hitch should never be attached only to the bed. The best mounting position for the hitch is to locate it directly above or slightly forward of the rear axle. This mounting position works well with long bed trucks. It's also possible to install a fifth wheel hitch in a short bed truck, but it must either be placed behind the axle or a special sliding hitch must be used. In all cases, the hitch must be placed so that the trailer will not strike the cab of the tow vehicle in a sharp turn. Now, any qualified hitch installer can help you choose the best hitch for both your RV and for your tow vehicle. Okay, well, we're getting ready to back up and hitch up, but before we do that, as long as we're up here in the truck, let's take a look at the hitch components for any sign of any damage. Also, make sure that all the pins are in place and have cotter keys holding them. It's also a good idea to make sure that the hitch all moves freely. Now we can release the hitch locking mechanism in preparation for backing up. Always remember to lower the tailgate before backing up. This will prevent a costly interaction between the tailgate and the pin of your fifth wheel. Now, here's a tip. You can replace the stock tailgate with one designed for towing. This eliminates the need to raise and lower the tailgate when hitching up. Okay, now let's back up and line up the hitch. With most fifth wheel hitch installations, it'll be very easy to do this because you can see the hitch right out the back window. Now, if you can't see your hitch from the driver's seat, you can mount a convex mirror right here on the front of the rig. This will allow you to see the hitch clearly from the driver's seat as you back up. Okay, stop backing just before the hitch contacts the pin box, and place the vehicle in neutral or park, and set the emergency brake. Now, use the front jacks to raise or lower the trailer until the pin box is just above the hitch. Okay, now we need to back up slowly until the hitch pin is just seated in the hitch receiver. You should hear a clunk or a snap as the hitch jaws lock where the release bar slides in. Now, once the pin is fully seated in the hitch, we need to lock the hitch so it will retain the pin. This style hitch uses a sliding locking arm that we slide into position, and then by turning it down, it's now locked. This style hitch uses a similar type of arm setup, but it also has a latch to retain the arm in its locked position. Now, it's very, very important that we make sure that these hitches are fully locked. If they're not, the pin can slip out of the hitch, and the trailer can then fall on the bed of the truck with disastrous consequences. Now, here's a tip. With the hitch closed and locked, paint the face of the jaws or the locking bar on the hitch with some white paint.
This will make it easy to tell that the jaws or locking bar is fully engaged on your hitch. Once the hitch is locked, lower the trailer onto the hitch. Continue to operate the jacks until they are fully retracted, and then lock the jacks into their travel position. Okay, the fifth wheel is now firmly attached to the tow vehicle, but there are a few things left to hook up. Plug the trailer lighting umbilical connector into the socket on the tow vehicle. Make sure it's firmly attached and latched in place. Now every time you hook up your lights, you should check to make sure that they're functioning properly. A simple way to do this is turn on your four-way flashers and your parking lights. The trailer brake should also be checked manually at the trailer brake controller. Check your owner's manual for your brake controller. There should be a big difference between brakes connected and working, see the LED, and brakes not connected. See the difference? Finally, this lanyard is connected to the brake system breakaway switch. This lanyard will pull the switch and apply the trailer brakes in the unlikely event the trailer becomes separated from the tow vehicle, but only if this end of the lanyard is firmly attached to the vehicle. Now here's a tip. You can make this a lot easier by using a little quick release like this to firmly attach the lanyard to a hard point on the tow vehicle hitch or tow vehicle frame. Make sure that the umbilicals and lanyards all have enough slack to clear in a tight turn so they don't hang up on the hitch. Also, if you lowered the tailgate to hitch up, raise it back up. Okay, that's it. That's why fifth wheel hitches are so popular. There's no safety chains, there's no load levelers, there's no anti-sway bars. Makes it a lot easier to hitch up and unhitch. There are a couple things we need to talk about adjusting fifth wheel hitches. It's important to make sure there's adequate clearance between the bed rail of the truck and the fifth wheel trailer. You need about 5 or 6 inches to really be safe. Now if you're too tight here, you often can either raise the hitch or lower the pin box to get you the extra clearance. Now we need to step back and take a look at the truck and the trailer together. If the trailer and the truck are both nice and level, then you're all set. If not, you can adjust the hitch up or down to get everything nicely leveled out. Now if the truck is too tall for the trailer, you may have to do suspension modifications on the trailer to raise the height of the trailer to match the truck. Okay, well, we're going to do a quick walk around, make sure the rig is ready to tow, and then we're out of here. Okay, once you've arrived at your destination, unhitching is really everything we covered in hitching up, just done in reverse. First, level the rig side to side. Then, shock the trailer wheels. Next, we need to lower the jacks in preparation for raising the trailer off the truck. Now, if you've got a conventional tailgate, always remember to lower it before you unhitch. We use our front jacks to raise the front of the fifth wheel until you just start to see some daylight under the hitch. On this hitch, we first release the safety latch and then pull the locking arm out until it stops. That releases the hitch. This style hitch requires us to rotate the locking bar to free it and then pull it straight out of the hitch. Now, to hold it in place, we can just rotate it to the side slightly. This releases the hitch. Now, unhook the breakaway lanyard and the trailer lighting connector. Now here's a tip. If you find the release handle on your hitch is really difficult to move, like this one is, simply move the tow vehicle back slightly, and that'll take the pressure off the hitch and allow you to pull the handle easily. Once everything's disconnected, route the lanyard and the umbilical so they won't hang up on anything, and then move the tow vehicle out of the way. Okay, let's get these cables out of the way. Now, before you use your front jacks to level the rig, you can make a very simple, handy tool to help you get the hitch back to the same position it's in now.
That'll make it easier to hitch up the next time you hitch up. Nothing to this, it's just a piece of string, has a weight tied on the end. I'm going to use that string to kind of measure the distance to the ground. When the weight is just touching the ground, I'm going to secure the string to the front of the fifth wheel with a magnet. Now we can go ahead and level the rig. When you get ready to hitch up again, just run the jacks until that weight on the end of the string is just touching the ground. Now this will preset your trailer back to the perfect height to hitch up easily again to the truck. Now that's a real time saver. You can also use a standard trailer level on the pin box here to do the same thing. This level, I've attached a couple of magnets to the back of it. What you do when you unhitch is you just set this level up on your trailer and adjust it until the ball is in the center. There we go. Now, go ahead and level the rig. When you come back and get ready to hitch up, just run the jacks until this ball is back in the center again and you're at the right height. Okay, now let's talk about hitch maintenance. Fifth wheel hitches don't require a lot of maintenance. It's mostly just keeping things clean and keeping things lubricated. We're going to start off by scraping the rust off of this rusty kingpin. It's important to keep a coat of grease on this pin. Helps to prevent corrosion. Also makes it work a little easier in the hitch, keeps it from wearing. Now, we can do something similar to what we did in the conventional trailer by taking a cup, putting some magnets in it, see, just like that, and we can use this cup to cover this hitch pin, and that'll keep us from getting grease on our clothes if we're walking around the front of the trailer. Keep the inside of the hitch clean, and keep a light coating of grease on all of the hitch's moving components. Now here's a tip. To avoid having to keep the contact surfaces of this hitch greased all the time, instead you can install one of these little lubricating discs. It's pretty easy to do. Just clean off all that old grease, and then just press this disc up over the pin. This eliminates the need to grease that surface and really helps keep things a lot cleaner. Now you'll still have to grease the hitch pin, but the lube plate really cuts down on the amount of grease you have to use and the mess. Keep electrical connectors clean and check the cable periodically for any cuts or frays. It's a good idea to periodically check all the attachment bolts for your hitch. Just make sure they're good and tight. Finally, inspect all of the hitch components for rust or corrosion. If you find any, wire brush it off, and then just cover those areas with fresh paint. All right, folks, that covers fifth wheel.